everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to be doing a long form of my miniature painting challenge that I'm going to be doing for 10 weeks. So this video idea was suggested by a viewer, so thank you very much to whoever suggested it. And without further ado, let's get started with the painting. So I'm just starting off with the clouds here. I don't know if you've seen my introduction video where I showed the painting that I did. If not, I'll put a picture of it up right here. Obviously this one doesn't look as nice as the actual painting because it is miniature and it's a lot harder to achieve textures and realism in miniature paintings, and that's what a lot of people find difficult because they think it's all about adding different details and things, but you don't need too much detail when you're doing miniature because a little goes a long way as it's really small painting and you don't need too much paint. And another way to make any sort of painting, well, watercolour painting specifically, is to add water to your paper because it helps the colours blend in better and stick to the paper, where when you don't wet the paper it just looks blocky and dry. But yeah, if you want that texture, like blocky and dry, then go for it, you don't need to put any water. But if you want it to look well blended, neat and tidy, make sure you wet that paper, because it will make the difference in your paintings. Another great tip for watercolour painting is layering. Layering makes all the difference when you're doing like grass and hills and things, because it can give the impression of like leaves or parts of the grass where it's darker than others, and I find this really nice. I really like layering paint because it looks really pretty, and in my big paintings they look really nice. So I'll do in this painting, I'll be doing a grass layering on the green parts, but as you can see I'm doing right now, I'm layering some dark green on top of the light green that I did with like a speckly effect, because just layering blocky doesn't give much of an effect, but if you do it with different brush strokes you can achieve different textures. And a lot of the paintings that I do, I use the techniques that I showed in my other videos, so go and check that out. But a lot of my paintings, I do use those techniques. Softening is one of my favourite techniques to use in like hills and grass and things. Clouds are my favourite for this. Bushes, all things like that. And right here I'm doing shadows, so I'm doing a darker colour on top of a lighter colour, as I'm going to add some trees at the top later, and it just gives the effect that some parts are darker than the others, like shadows. So here I'm now adding the trees. For the leaves, I like to just dab the paintbrush on the paper, flattening it slightly so it gives the effect that there's leaves there. If you just use dots, it will look a bit weird. So make sure you get your brush nice and long, but use a small brush if you're doing a miniature painting. Otherwise use like a medium-sized brush. I find that works really well. Yeah, small fine brush for miniature paintings. So I'm going to go ahead and peel off the tape. Another great tip is to hair dry your masking tape first, as it will help it remove a lot easier. Mine ripped the paper a little bit, but that's okay because I was rushing. But make sure you take your time, as it will really make a difference. Make sure you go ahead and sign it with your name, make it more personal. I am going to make a little booklet with all of these. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. See ya!